Today we will discuss about the Ministry of Cooperation. So in this video we will discuss why Ministry of Cooperation is news, what is the Ministry of Cooperation, what is the main aims and objective of the Ministry of Cooperation. We will also a brief background of the cooperative movement, and we will also discuss what is the significance and why the ministry is actually a separate ministry is needed of cooperation. So this is and this significance, and also we will discuss some example like the Amul and IFCO or the Mother Dairy, which is a cooperative society which is a highly successful. And we will also discuss the chairman. Amit Shah is the chairman. Who is the chairman? Why Amit Shah will be the chairman of this Ministry of Cooperation. And also at the conclusion we will discuss what should be the future of cooperative movements and how cooperative movements should go ahead with this. So why news? As you know, there is a cabinet reshuffle take place. So after the cabinet reshuffle, what happened? The Public Information Bureau, means the PIB, in which a press release said that the union government decided to form a separate ministry, which is a cooperation ministry, to strengthen the cooperative movements in the country. So what is a Ministry of Cooperation? Remember that this cooperation or this cooperative movements actually before the separate ministry which will form in the later someday. So before that it is handled by the agriculture ministry. So now a separate ministry. So it is a separate administrative, legal and policy framework for strengthening the cooperative movement. So this is what the Ministry of Cooperation. What is the main aims and objective? Remember that the first aims and objective is this Sahkar se Samriddhi, means the prosperity through the cooperation. Means we will achieve our common goals through the cooperation with the collective vision of the people. Either they are women, either they are men, either they are some other person or third transgender, or it will be a collection of the people, and that will lead to the prosperity through the common. So this is all about. And reach out to the grassroots level. Grassroots level means up to the village, block and the district level, and it might be in future coincided with the 7th and 7th constitutional amendment, means the Panchayati Raj and the municipal committee. So the cooperative societies and also the municipal and the Panchayati Raj will actually cooperate with each other and can lead to the more development and the sound development at the grassroots level. This is one of the objectives. Another is the streamline the process of ease of doing business. Ease of doing business is not only in the cooperative sector, or you can say in the financial sector, but also ease of living. Ease of living. As you know, there is a Ministry of Housing which actually has an index also, ease of living. So this ease of doing business is for the cooperative movements who actually want to cooperate and get and want development through the cooperative. So that ease of doing business for the cooperative movement. So this is what aim. Now let's talk about what is cooperative societies, or you can say the movement. So it is a autonomous, means the independent and free from the biases or political etc. And united. United means they are collectively came and to people to achieve their common goal. This is the main what we need to cooperative society. Means they come together and form the autonomous organization, and which is known as the cooperative society. And remember that the main features of this cooperative society, that is the jointly owned, means there is a not one supreme member or there is a director who will actually control, but a jointly owned means a collective of people owned that. And remember that it is a democratically controlled. Democratically controlled means their election will be held in a periodic time, let's say 5 years, 3 years, 2 years. So that was democratically controlled with the independent board of directors. So this is what is the cooperative society. Autonomous united people actually came together and formed and the cooperative society, and that cooperative society will be jointly owned and democratically controlled with an independent board of directors is known as the cooperative societies or movement. This definition comes from the ILO, means the International Labour Organization. If we talk about the cooperative society, in the milk sector, the cooperative society is dominant and highly successful. The example is the Amul, Ananda, Mother Dairy, especially in the Delhi, is the highly successful in the milk sector. Now let's talk about a brief background of the cooperative movement. Remember that it is a first formed in the banking sector in 1903 during the British rule, and in 1958 a National Development Council, which was earlier and during the UPA regime, actually recommended that to form a cooperative society. Similarly, in 1984 Parliament enacted a multi-state cooperative societies, actually to give a boost to this cooperative society. And according to this, when Parliament enacted some law, then Parliament handled that cooperative society. But one thing you need to remember, that cooperative societies come under the state list of entry 32, and that's why it actually created a federal tension, you can say, between the union government and this state. And the many, even the Kerala minister and some other the Congress ministers has clearly said that this come under the domain of state government, and this lead to the controversy between the union government as well as the state government. We will discuss. So remember that National Policy on Cooperation 2002 came. Actually, it actually subsumed the all the previous laws which is related to the cooperative society. And another is the 97th Constitutional Amendment came in 2011 in this, and regarding the cooperatives, and Part 9A added related to the cooperative society. Remember that under Article 91C, remember that this is actually a right to express freedom, freedom of speech and expression, in which the right to form cooperative society is now a fundamental right under Article this. Under Article 19(1) Clause C, along with the form associations or unions. Another is the Article 43 Clause B, under the directive principle of state policy, promotion of cooperative society clause added in this. Remember that here is the two question can be asked. Right to form cooperative society comes under which article, and the promotion of cooperative society comes under which section, part 4, part 3, part 2, part 3, or either in the directive principle, fundamental right, fundamental duty, etc. So this can be asked. This is the two important point from the objective type question of examination. Remember that, and cooperative society comes under the state list of the 7th schedule, and this is one of the main clauses actually created a federal tension and a confrontation between the union government and the state government, because the state are saying, actually forming the cooperation ministry, actually union government trying to encroach the powers of the state government because it comes under the state list. So let's talk about the significance, or you can say why a cooperation ministry needed. So remember that actually what is happening today, that in the Maharashtra, Gujarat or Karnataka, and in southern some other state, let's say UP, in the sugarcane field. So these are the cooperative societies are the more strengthening, and central government as well as the state government by their laws actually give the funds, equity, and some kind of legal framework. So in the 2, 4 state, or let's say 6 state, all they are grabbing the funds as well as the legal framework, all these cooperative society in some 6 to 8 states. So what is happening through this cooperation ministry, that it will actually give a economic means the fund and legal guarantee to the other state, rather than it confined only to the Maharashtra, Gujarat or Karnataka. So it is a kind of penetration of economic means funds and the legal framework, which is either by the state government or either by the central government. If central government is framing the cooperation ministry, and if any laws framed, then it will apply to the whole of the country, means everything will be penetrate to the other state. So it will lead to the more rise in the cooperative society, more development at the grassroots level. So this is all about what is the main significance of the cooperation ministry. As I have told you, central equity and funds also went to the cooperative societies in the state, and this will lead to the only some state, let's say 6 to 8, and now it will went to the 28 state and 9 union territories. Main thing why Amul is successful, why Mother Dairies is successful, why Lijjat Papad is successful, the main thing is that there is the effective, it actually cooperative society give a effective bargaining power. Why, if how effective bargaining power? Let's say, suppose if Amul or Lijjat Papad, I am an individual and I went to the some let's say to you, whoever watching this video, and I say this is the marker which I want to give you a 10 rupees, but you don't want to buy this on the 10 rupees or let's say 15 rupees, you want to buy it at the 8 rupees. So I have a no option because I am an individual and you have the more bargaining power. But if I form a cooperative of let's say 15 people and then I want to sell this marker, so whenever you will go, you have to buy this on the 10 rupees. If my price is 10 rupees, then 10 rupees, let's say 15 rupees means 15 rupees, and you have to buy. So this is how they give the not only the effective power to the cooperative society but also the bargaining power, and which lead to the more profit to the cooperative society, especially in the agricultural field. And that's why Amul or Mehta Dairy is highly successful. And in UP there is a sugarcane cooperative society which is also in the form of the mill owners, and that's why it is a highly successful. So it not only empower the rural society, so it empower the rural population and reduce the regional imbalances is one of the main significance. So if you look at the 50 to 50% is the farmers, and if they are the cooperative form in the cooperative society and they will get the more profit, then it will lead to the development, more demand, more supply, more consumption, more GDP, and there is a synchronization of development will take place in the rural areas as well as the urban area. So this is how it actually reduces the regional imbalances, which is the most prominent in India. Another is the strengthening of the human resource development. How strengthening? Because if you are forming the cooperative society, then you have to give the training, the more employment, money, etc. So this will lead to the more strengthening and human resource development and create employment in the society. As you know, there is a milk sector, they are highly dependent and creating a heavy employment, let's say 10 lakh 25. Vijay Papad is around the more than 30,000 or 45,000 workers. And it also create an awareness about the cooperative societies through the Corporation Ministry, which is a central agency. It will create awareness about the cooperative society and which will make the people friendly, means they can more and more people can join to cooperative society, and which will lead to the effective bargaining and more decision making power given the political strata, especially in the grassroots level, obviously at the state level and at the national level. So this is how what is the significance of the cooperative society, and that's why the cooperative ministry is needed at the central level. Now we will discuss what is the pitfalls and what could be the actually reason which actually decline the prominence of the cooperative society. So we will discuss the challenges. Now let's talk about the challenges of the Ministry of Cooperation, or you can say the cooperative society. So remember that it has become a source of political power, and you can see the politicization of cooperative society. Now I am telling you how. So what is happening that if there is a election, let's say next year there is an UP. So UP government, central government, all the government trying to manipulate the cooperative society or sugar mill society or the farmer society. So basically to get vote. So once they get vote, so they, now and then after the voting they forget the cooperative society, which actually hampers the demand of the cooperative society. How, and this is the politicization, especially in the banking sector. This is prominent because you know there is a banking sector or a state cooperative, a state banking cooperative society is actually governed by the state government, and now actually the central government amended the banking regulation 1934, and now it is come under the control. So that dual control also hamper the functioning of the cooperative society. So this is. And why? So why you know कि Gujarat, how BJP came in the power in Gujarat through the milk, because they actually control the cooperative society, and that's why. So this has become a source of political power and also the politicization of cooperative society, obviously, which lead to this sometimes the mismanagement in the cooperative society, both financially and legally. Because if the political member or if the political man came in the cooperative society, then you know that sometimes it will lead to the funds of fund came, but it will not lead to the development of the cooperative society. So this is a kind of financial mismanagement and also a legal mismanagement. Sometimes in the financially also there are the some cooperative society which actually run away the taking money from the farmers or let's say banking or etc, and then they run away. So this is the main mismanagement of the cooperative society. one thing which I forget to tell you, that the 97th Constitutional Amendment, Cooperative Societies Amendment Act, actually gave the constitutional status to the cooperative societies. So way forward, or you can say the solution. Remember that the first thing which need to do the effective management. Effective management not in the form is the manpower, but also the financially and politically. How we can do the financially means there should be a transparency and accountability in the financial matter. So no diversion of the funds will take place, and this will lead to the massive. And it is also should be free from the political affairs, and not only from the political affair but also from the political man, because it will lead to the politicization. And if the free from the political affairs and the political man, then it not lead to the politicization of the cooperative society, and that's why, and that will also lead to the effective management. And independent members and experts need to be appointed in the cooperative society, which will lead to the effective management, not only in the form of the financially, legally, but also overall development of the cooperative society, as well as its members will take place, and the it will more contribution to the GDP as well as the state GDP, etc. Now another is the enhance the coverage. As you know, the coverage is rather only confined to 6 to 8 states. Enhance the coverage to 28 states and 9 union territories. So, and give the market linkages supply, means the give the market linkages. As you know, there is a NAM related to the agriculture, which is a digitally. So this also give to the digital. As you buy any milk from the mother dairy, then there is a digital available code which actually transfer the money, actually to the headquarter, you can say, not in between there is a no middleman, and that will lead to the from the here to there. So there is a effective money supply. And also this is, so you need to empower the digitally as well, and give the marketed linkages to the cooperative society. Education, training and intellectual development of the member of the cooperative society is required, which will lead to the more effective management, and as well as with a boost in the cooperative society. So this is all about the cooperative society and the Ministry of Cooperation as well. What we need to remember in this, that the in the directive principle under the 43B, you don't need to remember the article even. You need to remember that the cooperative society under the directive principle of state policy is mentioned. Under article 19, there is a right to form cooperative society is our fundamental right. These two things you need to remember that, otherwise there is a no need to remember the brief background and everything. National policy came in 2011, in which the there is a how to elect, how to not manage board of directors, political members reduced. So these things you know, but this is important from the subjective point of examination, and it can be asked. So this is all about the Ministry of Cooperation and Cooperative Society. Thank you guys, hope you like this video. You should subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.